We obviously released some today. We'll be releasing additional documents likely later today. The important thing here is that we know, and we've been demanding, that Donald Trump and the DOJ release the full Epstein files. In what's been released today, which obviously is some quite serious, I think, connections between what Donald Trump may have known. There's communication between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously making some claims about Donald Trump spending significant time, hours, with possibly one of the victims. There's also disturbing emails there about Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. The people can read for themselves. I think what's important right now.
Not all the people can read for themselves, Robert, and that's what you guys aren't getting. We have a large group of insecure men who, in fact, cannot read, cannot do addition and subtraction, cannot figure out who's robbing them. They're just like, these liberals, Trump said these liberals are stealing from me. Yeah, the call's coming from inside the house, and if I was being robbed and could not figure out who was robbing me, I might learn to read and to do math to figure it out and to stop blaming the wrong people. That might be something. Oh, I love Steph. Thank you for the super chat. She said, "Do me a favor and say I'm not gonna censor myself in your angry MAGA voice." Exactly. None of us should censor ourselves. Well, MAGA should, because none of it makes sense. And here's the best point, which I think it's like sometimes I'm like, God, this is so simple. Like we don't even need to go over it. Like anybody could see that Trump is engaging in a desperate, panicked cover-up, and it's super weird.
Any American with common sense sees right through this hoax and clear distraction from the government opening back up again. What's your response to that?
My response is simple. Then release all the files. If the president has nothing to hide, if the press secretary right there in her comments and statement, if they have nothing to hide at the White House or the Department of Justice, then all we want is for them to release the full files. It's very clear. You can't spend your entire campaign saying you're going to do something and make a commitment to the American people and then backtrack. And so we're going to ensure, one, we always are going to protect the victims and survivors. And if they want to clear the president's name, and more importantly, also all of the other men and powerful men that may have been involved, then release the files today. That should be the response from the White House.
President Trump has...
That's how logic works, Chris. Because everybody you're on your knees for, you are so sure. You've spent your life giving Andrew Jacksons to rando Republican men who have assured you they're innocent. Then this is how you confirm that, right? You don't engage in a cover-up. You're like, hey, I'm not a 3PDO, and this evidence will exonerate me. I mean, that's how a normal person's brain would work. And I wanted to just comment. I can't remember who said it, because I think it's an interesting point of view. Oh, peeps for peace. While Chris was gross, I expect that behavior from men like him. Women protecting Trump make me ill. Listen, I actually understand what you're saying. I was raised by one. But I mean, my mom has a complete lack of empathy. But the only food for thought I wanted to bring to this is for the women defending Trump who have empathy. It's a trauma response, right? Like, it's fawning, right? You always hear about fight, flight, or freeze. Like, women's number one survival mechanism is fawning, right? Like cozy up to the biggest abuser, so maybe they will hurt me less when it's time. When I was like a 2-year-old or 3-year-old in a very unsafe, very violent situation, I became like the expert of fawning, and I've had to literally like deprogram myself from it. Like, my instinct is always to like enter a room, identify the scariest monster, and go become their friends. When shit goes bad, they don't abuse me. I want to be clear, I'm not making excuse for these women at all. It is disgusting. It is. I have a problem with it too. I'm just trying to like offer food for thought, but also I can't stand those. Like, voting against your own self-interest because your husband told you to, or because you think like somehow I can't, or you're overly religious. There's all sorts of ideas I have about it, but yeah, I think the general idea is, if you are working against your own best interest, factually, mathematically, and in favor of being like, hey, I agree with you. I'm a pick-me, and somehow I hope you remember this when shit hits the fan. Yeah, like, that's a trauma response. And I say that because I had to deconstruct from those responses. I grew up around very scary people, and my instinct used to be like, hey, whoever the scariest person is, become their friend. So they don't hurt you. But it's not a good idea. I don't even know. Why can't I hear this? What is happening? Okay, I don't know what's going on there. This is what I want. I love this. I don't know if anyone's seen this. So Robert Garcia posted this in the morning. It goes through the emails. I just find it so funny. Like, this is posted to the Democratic Oversight account, which this is where we're at now. We're just like posting Trump's like 3 PDO emails.
Hey, it's Congressman Garcia. Now, Oversight Democrats just received a pretty large amount of new files from the Epstein estate. Some of the files and emails shed new light into the relationship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. So please take a look at these yourself.
Email number 1. In an email from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell, sent on April 2nd, 2011, Epstein states, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked yet is Trump. Victim. Spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. Email number 2. In an email from Jeffrey Epstein to Michael Wolff sent on January 31st, 2019, Epstein states, Victim, Mar-a-Lago. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member, ever, of course. He knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Email number 3. In an email from Michael Wolff to Jeffrey Epstein sent on December 16th, 2015, Wolff says to Epstein, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on a plane or to the house, then that gives you valuable PR and political currency.
As you can see, it's more critical now than ever that the Department of Justice release the full files. We need to know exactly what happened, what does Donald Trump know, and what is he hiding. Hey, it's
So again, if you continue to show up, and it does seem like it's like the effort to cover up and get on your knees for Trump, like all of these insecure MAGA men, like they're really going hard today. I find it disturbing that when it turns out he is complicit in a literal child trafficking ring, allegedly, that your response is to triple, quadruple down in defense of him. Like, and I already know. I know how MAGA men feel about women and about children. But yeah, I think it's good for everyone to see. We all know now exactly who you all are. And it's gross. It's very, 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 very gross. Like, here's an example. So this is, and I don't even know, this is a representative in Congress. I'm like, who the F is that? Here, let me show you how these people are running cover for Trump. Like, I could not fix my lips to say this type of shit.
All of that, I want to get your response to the breaking news we've been following this hour that the House Oversight Committee has just released emails showing that Jeffrey Epstein mentioned Donald Trump by name multiple times in various private correspondence with Ghislaine Maxwell and the author Michael Wolff. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, good morning, Wolf. Great to be with you again. I think that we all know President Trump has been the most investigated person probably in the world over the last several years. And, of course, the information that was released.
That's a feeling this man had that is absolutely not accurate. But I do love when insecure men, like, state their feelings as if they're facts. Yes, tell us more about your feelings that there is no evidence to back up.
This morning by the Democrats. For one, I would say, it shows up on the day that we're going to open up the government again in the House. We're voting this afternoon. But also, the Oversight Committee, led by the Republican Chairman James Comer, is always going to be looking at the facts and whatever the facts lead. And again, as I say, President Trump has been the most investigated president that we probably will ever have. And so the fact that this information comes out today, I think is a bit ironic, but at the same time, any information that's released has to be taken seriously, and I know that the Oversight Committee will do that.
when all of that, I want
Okay, so God, how embarrassing. I don't even know what to say about that. Like and it's so interesting to listen to Republicans hit the bullet point talking points they were given. That's what you say. Say it's because he's most investigated and it's a cover up. No, these are factual emails that are in FBI files that are part of an investigation. Like, period. Trump ran on, I will release 100% of these files. Now all of a sudden you guys don't want the files? I thought you guys all wanted the files. The only people that continue to vote to release them are liberals, like Chris said. These liberals are up to something. Yeah, up to just trying to, you guys want justice, so do we. We're just trying to make it clear who's done what to whom. And it's super strange now that when you find out the man you support is involved in a cover-up of a 3 PDO ring, that all of a sudden you are no longer interested in the files. That's super strange. It almost makes you guilty.
Lita Grijalva of Arizona, the Democrat, is sworn in later today, 2 months after her election, by the way. She's expected to be the 218th signature needed to force a vote to release all of the Epstein files. Do you think those files should be released?
Well, again, I think James Comer, the Oversight Committee chair, as well as the others who are responsible for these files, have done a very good job handling them methodically and making sure that the victim James Comer, Congressman Jim Jordan, they are the ones.
So we'll count on you then, Marlon Stutzman from God knows where, to sign the discharge petition. It sounds like you're a yes on the discharge petition, so that's another signature. Oh, I don't think that's what he meant.
That are truly handling this very well in the House of Representatives. Democrats are doing, their job, of course, as the opposition and making sure that information is out there. But again, I think that, it's interesting that they release those files today on the day that the government shutdown is going to end, and that it's a positive for Republicans that we're going to continue funding the government as we planned on, and that the government's going to be open. SNAP benefits are going to start being released back to the American people that were truly counting on them over the past month, and because the Democrats weren't able to get.
They aren't being released to people. That's part of the. This is. Like, can you imagine if someone sent me these bullet points and be like, hey, go on CNN and say this? I'd be like, no, thank you. Like, you need to find someone dumber to say these words that can easily be proven wrong. Like, what is this guy talking about? You think that the reason they had to release these emails because the government opened again today? It's because of the discharge petition and Trump trying to stop people from signing it. That's why. We are showing, I think it's super simple. We're showing the public, like, hey, Trump is deeply involved in this. You guys have said part of Trump's entire platform was I'm going to release. That was his point. Trump has done not one thing he said he would do. I mean, outside of violating the Constitution. And if you're a person who is dumb enough to be like, but he's rounding up the brown people, so that's what I was here for. Yeah, and making healthcare more expensive, making our taxes more expensive. I could explain to you why that's idiotic to feel that way. Quite literally idiotic, but that's another conversation. Trump has violated all of our constitutional rights in the process, also of making our lives harder by terrorizing brown people. So no, I don't see, especially since the Hispanic vote probably pushed Trump over the edge, and then to shit on them and violate constitutional rights and racially profile people is an interesting thing to see as a victory. But every single thing Trump said he would do. Well, I'm sorry. Trump said he ended the war in Ukraine. Can someone remind me what's going on in Ukraine right now? A war. Remember when Trump said he ended the India-Pakistan war, and then an hour later they started firing missiles at each other? Does anyone remember when Trump said, after Joe Biden negotiated a peace deal with Netanyahu before he left office, Donald Trump then tried to take credit for a different peace deal, and literally hours after that, Netanyahu was dropping heat-seeking missiles into Palestine? Every single thing that Donald Trump has ever said he was going to do, he has never done. Are we bringing prices down? Absolutely, we are not. Not one thing. And I need to understand, outside of this is my favorite guy to give Andrew Jacksons to. I love getting on my knees for men who say men shouldn't wear makeup, but also wear a full face of makeup every day. Outside of that, you'd have to explain to me what he's done for you. What is it, Chris, that was up here and had to run away in fear from having to listen to a woman correct his lies and feelings? What has Trump done for you? Tried to gaslight everyone and say Thanksgiving dinner is 25% cheaper, which was another lie. All he's done is lie, gaslight, deflect, blame. He has done absolutely nothing for any of us. So it is fascinating to me, and that's the fascination of the patriarchy. I love when the patriarchy's like, we're not emotional. Anger is the most base, idiotic emotion. That's why infants are always screaming, right? They haven't developed their brain. All they know is I'm hungry, I'm screaming now, give me food. That's you guys. You guys are like infants who are I'm not emotional. Yeah. You guys are the most emotional people in the world. You guys are responsible for all the crime, or the vast majority of crime, the vast majority of unalivings. It's all based on your inability to control your emotions. Period. And the self-awareness is in hell with all of you. Yeah, I'm less hungry now. And I could really go into a scientific thing about, we don't even have free will. This is all predetermined. What's his name? Professor Sapolsky. There's this Stanford professor that talks about it. How we're a sum total of our past experiences, not just our past experiences, but through epigenetics, our parents' past experiences. That's one of the things that his name is Robert Sapolsky. I'm picturing his book now. It is Robert Sapolsky. He's a Stanford professor, and he talks about how you're more likely to get a favorable sentence or parole if you see a judge after lunch and they've eaten. That's how serious it is. That life is much more simple. MAGA tries to make it out things are oh, we're playing 4D chess. You guys are just idiots that have no idea what you're talking about. Quite literally. I don't know how else to say it. Tammy, thank you for sharing the live. You're the best. Oh, this is an Epstein survivor. I forgot about this clip. I loved this clip. This is one of Epstein's victims. Just making sense.
Long established that Trump and Epstein had a close friendship, but now we're seeing kind of a deeper dive into what that might have looked like. And I think that it's important for us to remember that there were many high-profile men that were friends with Epstein. And I anticipate that, we might see more information coming out also about them.
It's still a little unclear what.
That's why, oh my God, I guess his name is King Charles now. That's why the British monarchy that won't go away has pretty much, if you don't follow, I'm an Anglophile myself. MAGA men who are listening, you need to Google that. You don't know what that means. But anyways, for anyone that does follow news in different parts of the world, this is why King Charles has basically cut Prince Andrew off, because they know all of this is coming out. And they're you don't, not that you guys, you knew about it the whole time and you let him profit off taxpayer dollars from the British Commonwealth while he was an absolute creep. But now that imminently he probably is going to be found out, King Charles has cut off Prince Andrew from any access to money that comes from being quote unquote a royal or doing royal duties.
Some of these emails mean Epstein, again, writing in 2011 to Maxwell, quote.
Oh, and I want to say this in case anyone's clear. Not because King Charles is a good person, but because probably he's worried about liability and lawsuits. That would be my guess.
I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. And then Epstein refers to a victim that, quote, spent hours at my house with him. In a separate email with author Michael Wolff in 2019, Epstein tells Wolff that Donald Trump, quote, explicitly knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Is this new information to you?
I don't think it's new information to any of us. I think that we have already seen that he may have had an idea of what Epstein was up to based on things that have already been released. His addition to the birthday book was telling. And I think that we're just seeing, like I said, we're seeing a deeper dive into what their friendship looked like.
The president, of course, has consistently denied having any knowledge or involvement in Epstein's crimes. Liz, what do you want to hear from the president now?
Well, it strikes me as odd that this was a campaign promise of the president and he has backpedaled on that. And so that's really concerning to me, and it's concerning to all of the survivors. We are victims of a crime, and the crime was sex trafficking, and we just want this crime to be prosecuted. Long established that
Truly. And I mean, it's not shocking that Trump has backtracked on a cover-up. I just want to address in the comments, someone's like, oh, you think King Charles is a good guy? No, absolutely not. I think the British monarchy is disgusting. I think any monarchy is disgusting, especially when they're taking taxpayer dollars from the British Commonwealth to engage in cover-ups of child sex trafficking. I think it is all disgusting and a blatant lie. And that's my point, is this is also one of the telling signs that all of this is true, is that King Charles is already doing damage control and cutting off his brother because he knows what's about to come out. This pact between rich people where it's hey, as long as you have hundreds of millions to billions of dollars, then you can victimize children, you can be into snuff films, you could do whatever horrible thing you want because you're rich, and there's a social contract between rich people that we protect our own. That is disgusting on every level, and it needs to stop. Trump literally ran on this shit. He knew he was complicit in it, and he was so confident he could cover it up, in my opinion, and literally gaslit and lied to MAGA. And imagine still being on your knees for Trump at this point. Imagine still being can't wait to give him another Andrew Jackson. That's MAGA men. And that is the character of so-called Christian nationalists. Think about this. These people have been, Pete Hegseth has been credibly accused. If you've been watching the People's Receipts for a while, I think in June I read, or wait, was it May or April? Whatever. Whenever Pete Hegseth was being confirmed, I was literally reading the 25-page police report from a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, rich Republican woman who made the mistake of working for the Republican Party and attending a Republican Party women's conference in Santa Barbara and was raped while her husband and kids were sleeping in a room waiting for her by Pete Hegseth, allegedly. And I mean very credibly allegedly. And nobody cares. Trump has gone out of his way to surround himself with men who abuse women. It's honestly a kink of his. Look at his cabinet. Almost every man in that cabinet has been credibly accused of assaying a woman or a child. He gets off on it. He's like, oh, my people are here now. And every minute, insecure, unintelligent MAGA men that you continue to show up in lives and co-sign it, we all know you guys are creeps. You literally reek of creepy, disgusting insecurity. I can't imagine. And I haven't personally like had a child come out of my own body, but I am a former second grade teacher. The only people we need to protect our kids, and like we always have to learn from the Republicans, they don't care about anyone but white Anglo-Saxon Protestant males who are definitely not gay. Add on that, not gay. Those are the only people they value. Everyone else is chattel slaves in their minds. It's gross. Oh, here is, what's her name? It's Anushka DeGiorgio. I love her name. This is another good clip. Sorry, I did it again. Hold on.
Donald Trump. Is it right through Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did, yes, and I met him on several occasions. Ghislaine Maxwell did introduce me to him, and she introduced me to him with a clear message of my being with him in the same way that she had trafficked me and brought me to Jeffrey Epstein.
Donald Trump.
I just want to be clear. I don't know if you guys have heard. I didn't screen record it, but maybe I will for tomorrow. Are you guys aware Trump's suing the BBC? This is the BBC. You can see right there in the corner for $1 billion. And to say the British government is angry, and I mean, I don't know what his weird false claims are, but it's because Epstein victims are going on the BBC and talking about him. Again, I just want, because I probably should have told you in the beginning that she's talking about Trump. This is why Trump suing, I mean, this is not why he says it is, but Trump no likey the BBC for platforming victims who are like, yeah, the same exact way I had to serve as Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell trained me to do the same thing with Trump. I don't want to put words in her mouth, so let's just listen to her say it again. And again, Trump just brought a $1 billion defamation lawsuit against the BBC. If you haven't heard about that, look it up. It's insane.
Donald Trump. Is it right through Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did, yes, and I met him on several occasions. Ghislaine Maxwell did introduce me to him, and she introduced me to him with a clear message of my being with him in the same way that she had trafficked me and brought me to Jeffrey Epstein.
Donald Trump. Is it right?
That's interesting. I too might sue someone for $1 billion after the truth about who I am started coming out. Which is, again, and here's the funny part about MAGA. Actually, let me help you with your logic. That is a sign of guilt. Just like it's a sign of guilt that he is literally trying to blackmail and coerce Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace to take their signatures off the discharge petition. Every single thing, and like Trump is not an intelligent narcissist. He's a dumb one, right? He just has one mode, Queen's mob boss. Like, that's it. He's just like, let me go leverage these people and threaten them. Like, that's quite honestly all he knows how to do, is to try to blackmail, coerce, leverage, threaten. It's the classic low IQ Queen's mob boss lesson. That's what you're watching. He is literally, they started platforming the Epstein victims, and now Trump is suing them for $1 billion. Yeah, I'd do that too if I didn't want my truth to come out.
Memoir comes out, obviously, after her death.
Anya is like, I can taste freedom. She's literally like, can you imagine? She's like, finally, I'm out of here.
Memoir comes out, obviously, after her death. What will we learn from the book that might have a corollary if and when the files are ever released?
I mean, the book is incredibly graphic. And if the files are released, and they are truly released, and they are unredacted, then you will see the names that are associated with those descriptions. and they're very powerful people. I mean, she was trafficked to incredibly powerful people, as many as 36 men. And I think it would be jaw-dropping for both political parties. And, you know, you can read and you can figure out who these people are. And
I would bet my life, and this is a thought exercise we used to do when I was a philosophy major for 1 year. Then decided to be a history major. But like, if someone was holding a pew to my head and said, right now, guess yes or no about if you think this is true or not, and if you're wrong, we pull the trigger. Of course, like when she says both parties, oh yeah, like Bill Clinton, I mean, and this is my opinion, but I've never been more sure someone was a child trafficker in my life than I feel about Bill Clinton being one. And like and I mean this because I just watch people, you know, like I'm not going to say who said this to me, but this is a pretty popular creator on TikTok, a very popular creator. I don't hang out with a lot now. But one of the arguments we got into was because I was just like, hey, I see you, and like, I think some of the things you're doing are bad. Like, and then he's like, you don't know me. I've never told you anything about me. You don't know who I am. And I'm like, yeah, I don't need you to confess to anything for me to recognize a very clear pattern of behavior, right? Like that term of don't listen to what people say, watch what they do, is the truest thing in identifying an abuser you will ever know, right? Don't listen to one word, watch the pattern of behavior. Everyone's pattern of behavior tells the story of who they are. You don't need to gaslight me, like tell me a bunch of lies and schmooze me. I have watched who you are. You have a very distinct pattern of behavior, as every human does, and that's the truth. Like, and it's the same of Donald Trump. Like, if you are still, and that's what, no offense, Chris, or whatever his name was that came up here, but like, the fact you are still parroting lies that Donald Trump told you, and you're not just watching his pattern of behavior and understanding very clearly, it's not possible at this point. Let me say that in a more accurate way. It's statistically very not likely that Trump is ever being honest about anything. And the fact that MAGA is still like, hey, I came up on this live and I've been terrorizing people in the comments. I'm going to just repeat something Trump said, because he would never lie to me. After I gave him a Andrew Jackson, he said he wouldn't lie to me, so I believe him. So he said everything's going to be okay, and he never robbed me. Well, okay. Well, every action Trump has taken in his second term is contrary to what he told you when you were giving him a Andrew Jackson. But, you know, go off, King. Whatever. Keep getting robbed by the same person. And it's the same thing with this. It is so fascinating to watch these. Think about Trump's pattern of behavior around the Epstein files. It is a cover-up. Every action he takes is to blackmail, coerce, or threaten someone into silence. This is... Now, remind me, because I know Chris was saying, these liberals are up to something. Were we up to something when we met with the survivors, as did Republican women who Trump is now trying to blackmail and coerce in the White House to take their names off the discharge petition? Was it a lie when Nancy Mace ran out of that hearing with Epstein victims sobbing when people were physically disturbed? We begged Trump to meet with the survivors and validate them. And you know what he said? No. F you. And that's the other reason. If you are a MAGA, insecure, low IQ weirdo who happens to have a daughter, and you are still going along with this, shame on you. Shame on you. 1 in 3 women in America are SA'd. Literally 1 in 3, and multiple times. Like, that's what's not clear in that statistic. Is it doesn't happen once. It happens multiple times to all of us. And you have the nerve to have a daughter and be like, yeah, this creepy predator, I'm not only backing him and giving him Andrew Jackson's full time, I'm also trying to indoctrinate my innocent child into this same cult where they will not be safe. Great parenting. Keep it up, MAGA. You guys are doing an amazing job. You know who also has a large concentration of predators? The Christian church. Praise the Lord. Praise him. Let's all take a moment to praise the Lord. Because isn't that what they always say? God doesn't... Oh, wait, no. Let me tell you. This is my biggest pet peeve. After I was SA'd as a child in an evangelical mega church in Arizona, and then I tried to tell my parents, they gaslit, or excuse me, not my dad. He would have actually been in jail for murder. So I tried to tell my narcissistic mother, and she gaslit me and yelled at me and said that I was trying to take attention away from her. True story. My entire life gaslit me about it. And she's like, you're just trying to make a problem where there is none. Mind you, the only reason I ever admitted it to her and what had happened is because she had my father beat the shit out of me because of it. Like, I came home or got in the car, like my parents would go to adult church and, you know, kids go to Sunday school. And I was like 7 or 8. I was 8, 7. I was a really young kid for my grade. I think I was in 3rd grade when I was 7. Anyways, I get back in the car and my dad is like, we're going to have a talk when we get home. You're in so much trouble. And when my dad said things like that, you're not going to be physically okay after the quote unquote talk. Like, I already knew, like, I'm going to die. The reason the talk had to happen is because my mom, I was coming, because there was like different levels in this church, and I was coming down the stairs from Sunday school, and she's staring up at me from the bottom of the stairs, and I don't have underwear on. I'm a 7-year-old with no underwear on. And what would you think a normal parent would do in that situation? Right? Like, you would probably go find out what had happened. But I got the shit beaten out of me because it was my fault, as I was informed. So watching MAGA men lie, gaslight, defend child abuse, it's nothing to me. Like, none of this will ever surprise me. That's why I tell you guys, like, I was built to fight Trump. Like, I was literally born into it. Like, never underestimate how much insecure, unintelligent men will band together to gaslight and protect each other when they're all abusers. Like, it is extreme. I'm not saying this so you guys can feel sorry for me. I'm saying this to prove a point. Like people like whatever that guy's name was that came up here. That's what, and it might seem extreme to draw this conclusion, but yeah, like, he's complicit in covering up children being abused. 100%. Every single person that continues to defend Trump is literally covering up the abuse of children, and I will never forget it. I took a screenshot of whatever that guy's name's profile. Every single one of you that continue to cover up the abuse of children, people don't forget, especially people whose brains work. Mine does. My brain works. And I will always remember that when children needed you to stand up for them, you're like, excuse me, I'm too busy. I got to give Orange Jesus a handy. Like, imagine that. And then having the nerve to say the party of caring about children. Yeah, keep it up, guys. Nailing it. Nailing it.
It's going to be really hard for Republicans in a few weeks to vote against releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files, especially now that the House Democrats have released an email directly connecting a victim of Jeffrey Epstein to President Trump. In Jeffrey Epstein's own words, he's surprised that the police chief did not go after Donald Trump. He said that he spent hours at his house, right? And then there are emails between Epstein and Michael Wolff in which Michael Wolff is telling him to use it as leverage over President Trump. He's also saying that, you know, if you do this, then maybe
Trump will clear your name, say you're a nice guy. He can say you're just a victim of political correctness. Why is a journalist giving a pedophile public relations advice? It makes me very suspect.
We need to probably get a sign-up sheet and schedule a 24-hour rotation to keep an eye on Michael Wolff, because I guarantee you this man needs his hard drive checked and he is up to something. I'm telling you, I didn't take the only class where I learned something I still use in college to learn nothing. I'm literally the FBI agent that led the class was like, you should be an FBI profiler. Like, it's not hard too. It's super easy. Like, Michael Wolff is, I'm not going to do it, but if I did that same exercise and we used to do in philosophy class, like, where it's like, hey, someone's holding a pew-pew to your head. Hey, is Michael Wolff complicit in similar things to Jeffrey Epstein was? And if you guess wrong, we pull the trigger. Of course, I'm guessing yes. Like, the probability is there. It's Michael Wolff has been on all over. Like, think about it. Like, all these interviews on every major network on the internet saying, oh, like, I know all these things. Yeah, you knew all these things and you were being read into them and talked about because you're one of them. Now I fully get it. Who in the strategizes with the 3PDO of how he can leverage information about other powerful 3PDOs to get out of accountability? That is what one of these emails is Michael Wolff strategizing with Epstein about Trump being, complicit in 3PDO stuff and how they can leverage his guilt to free Epstein. Now, you tell me if someone who is not a 3PDO and a reputable journalist, like I took journalism, that's another class I took and never followed through on because there were too many rules. That is the most unethical shit you could ever do in journalism. Michael Wolff is not a journalist. He's a friend of 3PDOs, and then you have to be like, hey, like, why if he was not involved in any of this, why would they trust him with this information? And the probability of Michael Wolff being trusted with any of this information without in some way being complicit seems highly unlikely to me. Highly unlikely. But I'm just a person who can think logically and can read and do math, which, makes me smarter than all MAGA men. But women shouldn't have the right to vote because women are always up to something and they have too many emotions and feelings. And when women vote, their emotions get involved. And that's why there needs to be one male head of household, and that one man decides who the house is going to vote for, because women get too emotional. And they think too much, and we got to put a stop to women's brains working. Literally. Hold on. And I don't want to do this, but I'm just, because I think there's probably people in here who are like, what the is she talking about? I promise you guys, I'm not going to scar anyone. Again, I'm just going to play one clip to prove my point. The guy who runs Trump's entire office, his name is Russ Vought. He's the architect of Project 2025. You know, the thing Trump said he would never, ever enact. And he's enacted like 40-something% of it. Those people. I just thought maybe it'd be a good idea to just, since this is the first one I came upon, here's one of, I was going to show you Russ Vought's bestie, Joel Webbin, saying this, but here's Dale Partridge, another bestie of these people who are all up in the White House.
Is it good that women can vote in America? I don't think so, and here's why. Nearly every legalized moral atrocity of the last 100 years was made possible by the female vote. Abortion and homosexuality would likely still be illegal if not for the female vote. Mass immigration and the welfare state rode on the backs of the female vote. Nearly every modern Democrat, including Obama and Biden, were elected because of the female vote. Even last night, the new Muslim New York City mayor, Mondami, won specifically because of the female vote. The 19th Amendment has been a moral and political tragedy for America, but why? Women were not made to lead, but to follow and to feel. This is God's design, and it's good within the.
That's true. Why are you all so dumb? Can someone answer me that? Like, this is my real problem. And I mean that. I wish I could take a day off. I don't want to be the smartest person in every room. I would like to take a 5 and be like, okay, insecure white men, they've got this, like, their brains are firing on all cylinders. They can make good decisions. If any of this is true, why are you guys so dumb? Why? Why do you guys know nothing about anything? Like, truly, I'm asking for a friend, and that friend is all women everywhere. If you guys, if this is true, and we're all supposed to be subservient to men, why are you all so dumb? What is happening? Why you guys don't know anything about anything? You guys can't read, you can't add, you can't correctly identify who's robbing you, and I'm supposed to sleep well at night, like, letting you all be in charge? You guys can't be in charge because you're too dumb. Truly, you guys could not find your way out of a paper bag if your lives depended on it. And the Lord wants you all in charge. I'm gonna have to respectfully call bullshit. Like, what the are you talking about? You guys are idiots.
Family in the household. But emotions cannot be what is used to rule and govern a nation. Statistically.
Oh, emotions can't be what's used to rule a nation. Let me think about that. The number one base emotion, if you knew anything about anything, is anger. That is the constant emotion being displayed by men. That's why men are responsible for the vast majority of crime, of unalivings, of S abuse, of pedophilia, all of it. It's all men. And that's because you guys are angry and deeply insecure. So I agree, emotions should not rule government. And most wars have been started because some deeply insecure man was challenged. Like, you are making my point that overly emotional people shouldn't be in charge. And that's you. That's all. You guys are, it's you.
And generally speaking, women vote for whatever feels most kind or peaceful or safe to their emotions. Women crave security and comfort, and whoever promises those things wins their loyalty. The problem is evil men know this and they exploit it. For example, women are twice as likely to men to be seduced into an affair. They are 26% more likely.
I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to stop it there. I was actually trying to. But if you were not here on Friday, the first time I was forced to show people how dumb and insecure men are, you know me, an actual former historical researcher who got, beer money in college from doing that. I went on Google Scholar. I tried to find any relevant attributable study that said what he said. None of it exists. The only thing I could find that could explain that lie he made up was... Yeah, I'm so disappointed in dumb men on the right. Like, why are you guys so dumb? Wikipedia. The only thing I could find that could make sense of this lie he's telling is Wikipedia says men are twice as likely to go out and cheat on their wives. So I'm like, in his mind, he's turning that around and saying, okay, if men are the aggressors, then women are being seduced into affairs. And I looked for hours. Like, I used Google Scholar. If there was any reputable study available that would make sense of this insecure weirdo, I actively looked for it. And that's the only thing I could think of is like, if you just go, this guy's on Wikipedia. Yeah, tell us more about how much you don't know, sir. Like, we're fascinated listening to how deeply insecure you are about women who know more.
Is it good that women can vote in America? I don't think so, and here's why.
Sorry, I'm fascinated.
Promises those things wins their loyalty. The problem is evil men know this and they exploit it. For example, women are twice as likely to men to be seduced into an affair. They are 26% more likely to be financially scammed online. They are 3 times more likely to fall prey to psychics and tarot card readings and astrology and mediums. The same emotional vulnerability that shows up there
Christian nationalist men believe a flying spaghetti monster died on a cross for their sins, ascended into heaven, and somehow made them the chosen people, even though every single portion of the Bible and the area in which it was written is about non-white men. But let's not ever go into the facts of the delusion and lies that white men continue to tell us. Yeah, if Jesus Christ was now somehow God, or Jesus the Father and the Holy Spirit exist, whatever weird things you have to gaslight yourself into, none of anything in the Bible has ever involved a white man. Period. End of story. And that's because I understand maps and geography and the people that lived in those places. So you have not been chosen for anything. If in fact the Bible had any validity, then the last people that God would be choosing, in fact, would be white men. But go off, King. Let's hear more about your insecurities.
Also shows up in politics. Many call it suicidal empathy. So I believe that we should return to the household vote, where women share their thoughts with their fathers or their husbands, and the men in their life make the final decision. Men are not perfect, but they are far more fit to rule with logic, and they are less likely to be deceived in political matters. So I don't believe that we should repeal the 19th Amendment.
Less likely to be deceived in political matters. Right after you made this video, were you on your knees giving Trump a Andrew Jackson or a BJ? Is that where you came from to film this video? You guys are so dumb. Are you okay? Are you okay, sir? You guys are unequivocally the dumbest people in this country. We're being deceived. What you claim is women being hysterical or being deceived is us just being like, hey, we noticed that everybody in this country is supposed to have certain unalienable rights, and I'm just here to gather mine. Healthcare. I would like to have healthcare without creepy, insecure white men getting involved in it and all that stuff. Yeah, it actually is proof. It's so funny because it's if you can follow a line of logic. Did you hear him saying men can follow a line of logic? Not that weirdo that was on this live. He couldn't. He could not, if his life depended upon it, could not have followed a line of logic. So miss me with the BS. The most educated cross-section in America is black women. I was about to say thanks, Obama, but I'm not saying that it's because of him. I just like to say that to piss them off. Thanks, Obama and Joe Biden, even though it's not really about that. But truly, how insecure do you have to be? How committed? Can you imagine? You guys are not well. Here's what truly intelligent people don't need to do is make psychotic, rash, generalized statements to make themselves feel like their D is bigger. That's what we don't have to do. Some of us are busy reading and doing math. But I just wanted to show you guys this so I can explain to you why. Never expect an insecure, lost Republican man to do the right thing, including, and I know this is crazy to even have to say, but including and up to when it's about children being trafficked. If you don't care about women being raped and essayed, and not just don't care, you delight in it. You sit there and praise Trump and shit on women who people have been, he's been held liable in court for essay, and there's hold on, I want to get the word right. MAGA, you won't know what this means, but you can look up the definition later. There is actually probably beyond, but I think the actual legal standard for civil trials, no, maybe that's wrong. It's a preponderance at this point of evidence of exactly who Trump is, how he treats children, how he treats women, and the things that have happened. And if you continue to deny that that's the reality, then we're going to have to check your hard drive. You are a creep. Period. No, I say women because Trump has raped women as well as children. I make the distinction: children, women. There were adult women I believe 26 technically, that when have brought credible cases against him for SA when they were adult women. And then the child thing is a whole nother portion of, that's why I'm saying, like, I don't want to even say girl, because like I have arrested development due to the trauma subjected on me by my parents. So in my mind, I still am kind of a girl. Like I probably am like 13 in my head. So I don't even like to say that. We're talking about children. And when I say women, I am talking about adult women who also were assaulted by the same person, allegedly. So yeah, like I literally said that. Thank you, loud liberal lashes. I've seen so many MAGA already making excuses for the new episode. Yeah. Like, and if anyone's surprised by that, don't be surprised. This is who they are. We are chattel slaves to them. They are working towards making it harder for us to vote. So we all just have to, I guess, marry one of them. Like, I choose death. I love how he was saying, what did he say in the beginning? Hold on. I need to remind myself what he said in the beginning.
Is it good that women can vote in America? I don't think so, and here's why. Nearly every legalized moral atrocity of the last 100 years was made possible by the female vote. Abortion and homosexuality would likely still be illegal if not for the female vote. Mass immigration and the welfare state rode on the backs of the female vote. Nearly every modern Democrat, including Obama and Biden, were elected because of the female vote. Even last night, the new Muslim New York City mayor Mondami won specifically because of the female vote. The 19th Amendment has been a moral and political tragedy for America, but why? Women were not made to lead, but to follow and to feel. This is God's design, and it's good within the family and the household. But emotions cannot be what is used to rule and govern.
Yes, that's what I was trying to remember. Women are too emotional. And I cannot stress this enough. I was a Division I scholarship athlete. When you're a fall sport, you're not allowed to leave during the summer. And all of the fall sports like football, volleyball, soccer, blah, 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 we all have to condition together in the summer. And you know who was always the first to start sobbing? Men. Who were the first to start throwing up and crying and begging for their mothers? Men. Who missed all the run times, so we had to keep running until they got themselves? Men. I'm promising you this. Women have much higher pain tolerances. We have been put through much more pressure and abuse at younger ages. Men fold like lawn chairs in every situation. And it is fascinating to watch. Bro, I can smell your insecurity through the fucking phone. Are you okay? Like, are you okay? Because real men, and let me help you with this. Like, my first relationship was with a professional baseball player for 10 years who was pretty famous, and like, never once would you hear him saying something like this. Like, we were equals. Like, I beat him at most sports. Like, nobody, insecure loser, speaks of women this way. Period. I've never, real men who are like, go to sleep at night and they're like, I'm a man and I know it. Never speak of women in this way. You reek of insecurity, MAGA. It is wafting off you. And then you cry and you're like, I'm going to the far right and I'm going to complain about women not wanting to have sex with me. Yes, gather together with all other insecure weirdos and figure out why no one wants to have sex with you. I think you don't need to spend that much time on it. I think the answer is simple. You're a loser. That's what it is. And let me help you. If you want to change the patriarchal system, which it sounds like you guys are trying to use to subjugate people, and you no longer want to live under the tyranny of patriarchy, which is absolutely hurting you as well. That's why you feel this way. That's why you feel insecure. It is patriarchy, right? The shit rolls downhill, punch down, right? Like, men, as Bell Hooks always correctly identifies, are the first victims of the patriarchy. If you want that to change, you don't abuse women more. You do some reading and some research and you take a look at things and you change the system, period. Because you are victims of the patriarchy. This idea that like, you're not anything. Like when I gaslight men on the right, that's what I'm using. I'm using the literal patriarchal structure to shame you. And if you want me to stop, then my advice to you would be dismantle the patriarchy. And then maybe we could all be equals. But it's a gift and a curse for some of you. You want to use it to make women feel bad, but it's not going to work with me. You guys are all losers. Anyways, I've got to go because I just got a text from my father and I got to go make sure he's okay and make sure he checks his insulin. And tomorrow, like my friend Felice says, punch up. Exactly. Tammy, have you been listening? See how women can listen and receive information? You will never catch me punching down on anyone. The whole goal of the patriarchy is like, someone made me feel insecure. And instead of saying, hey, I'm going to look up and I'm going to attack the person who attacked me, you guys are like, okay, someone made me feel bad. Let me look down here and find another smaller person who's vulnerable that I can victimize. That's who you guys are. You're always punching down. You will never catch me punching down. I punch up. And I am a formidable foe. Like, you guys are losers, truly. Whenever you guys start taking on real opponents, not shitting on women or brown people or minorities who have had no rights for their entire lives, have not been able to amass any wealth, maybe, just maybe, we won't see you as insecure idiots. Punch up. Attack Trump for lying to you, for stealing from you, for grifting, for disillusioning you and selling you a dream that will never come to fruition. But you'd have to be brave to do that. And MAGA men are insecure, uneducated, illiterate cowards. And on that note, tomorrow we are going to go through the debates in the Rules Committee because I really want everyone to know exactly how Trump is